Yeah, I'll do a brief introduction for you. So good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday to all of you that are able to join us today. We're really happy to have you here this morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kim Reed. I am the program manager for Begin. I'm also a proud VRPN member. And I'm actually really honored today to be the facilitator for this Nursing Week session. And the first one is Food for Fuel. So I'm really excited about that one. We'd start by really doing our land acknowledgement. So we'd like to begin the session by acknowledging that VRPN is located on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe people. With this, we respect the long-standing relationship that the Indigenous nations have to this land. As they are the original caretakers, we acknowledge the historical and ongoing injustices that First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people endure in Canada. And we accept responsibility as a professional organization to contribute towards revealing and correcting misinformation, as well as renewing respectful relationships with Indigenous communities through teaching, research, care provision, and community service. I'd also like to acknowledge all of the Ontario registered practical nurses across the continuum of care, and I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone for all of the hard work that you're doing and all the care that you're providing to Ontario patients, residents, and clients as you continue to go above and beyond your commitment to care. So happy Nurses Week to everyone out there. I hope you get lots of videos along your way. As a virtual attendee, excuse me, you can watch your presenters live and engage throughout the chat. There's Q&A functions as well. Please just let us know where you're viewing from in the chat today. We'd really like to have that information as well. If you require any technical assistance along the way, I provided some information just in the chat there. 2 emails and a phone number you can contact either Itzel or Crystal for some IT assistance if needed. And with that, I'd also like to continue by saying that at the end of this session, we'll be announcing the winner of this session's door prize. So please note, you do have to hang in there to the end of the session to be eligible for the draw. And somebody will draw your name at the end. So I now have the honor of presenting our speaker for the session. And that is Alissa Steinberg. So she's a registered dietitian and certified diabetes educator with 14 plus years of clinical experience at Sick Kids Hospital, Unity Health, Markham Family Health Team, University of Toronto Faculty of Medicine. As a founder of Healthy You, a nutrition-focused business offering individual counseling and consulting services, Alissa's goal is really to help translate clinical recommendations into practical advice that can be easily integrated into a healthy living plan. Alissa specializes in both children and adult populations and is an expert in areas of weight management, metabolic health, high blood pressure, high sugar, high cholesterol, and hormone imbalances, PCOS, fertility, pregnancy, menopause, and many more. Alissa utilizes motivational interviewing principles in her approach to help empower clients with the necessary tools they need in their health journey. Alissa is also active on social media, Instagram with over 180K followers, that's pretty good, and TikTok with over 12K followers, to share some evidence-based messages that really increase intrinsic motivation and simple recipes that everyone can try at home. So with that, I would like to hand it off to you. I'm very excited.
Thank you so much for having me. I am honored. I was here last year and this group was amazing. So I hope I can meet your standards and you can get lots out of this as much as you did last year. And happy Nursing Week. I worked with nurses for over 14 years and my utmost respect for that team oriented and everything that you do. So I am honored. Last year I was here, I was very pregnant and now my baby is officially almost 1. So lots has happened along the way and I'm very interactive. So we have a PowerPoint, but then we're switching over to cooking because no better way to be inspired than actual hands-on examples. So this here is the whole setup here. We have lots of recipes, so it should be fun. I wish I can deliver you all the recipes at the end of this, but we can talk about that another time. And I'm going to share my screen so we can get started. Awesome. Okay, so in terms of these slides, so you all are going to get a copy of the slides. View, slideshow. Beautiful. Okay. So any recipes, any information here is all yours. So this here is the baby that I had after being pregnant with you during our session last time. And I have 2 other little sous chefs. And I love sharing health inspiration on Instagram. So follow along. It's called healthyu_dietitian. In terms of today, we're going to go through building balanced meals and snacks, foods that help with energy, mood, and focus. It's a real thing. The benefits of a Mediterranean eating pattern, protein, 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 and lots of cooking demos and trivia questions. So I'm a bit of a food nerd and I love interaction. So feel free to message the inbox, and maybe Kimberly, you can let me know if there's any questions I'm missing. But what do you call cheese that's not, oh, oops, that's not your cheese? Nacho cheese. The answer was there. I'm sorry. Okay, so in terms of, so I'm a big believer in let food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. So really everything we put into our body truly does get connected to our overall health. So it's a big kind of philosophy of mine that just motivates me and keeps me going. First topic. So when it comes to just overall focusing on energy, mood, and having more of that attention span, I start by talking about balancing our plates. And when we balance our plates, it really just guarantees those nutrients that we need. So I'm going to walk around here and get my examples here. But so who here knows with the food guide, I know it's a little bit, it's that tool that we all know of, but I actually do truly love it. What should half our plate be at all eating times? Drum roll. I know it's early in the morning. Veg, go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Half our plate should be vegetables and or fruits. And then what about the other, the 2/4 of our plates? Protein, yes. And then we have all the starches. So again, it's a pictorial plate, but it's so easy to get caught in front of our fridge and wonder, what should I make for breakfast? What should I serve myself? How should I pack my lunches? What does my dinner plate look like? And so I always defer back to this plate because it helps me know, am I getting enough of the food groups from all the different categories? And then that's how I kind of map out menus for clients. So it's a simple tool, but it really becomes helpful. So what are the actual portions? So for vegetables and fruit, we're talking 1 cup for snacks or just a fist, or 2 cups for meals. So who here had 2 cups of vegetables or fruit for breakfast this morning? Anyone in the chat box? Let's see here. Good morning, everybody. Everyone's so friendly. Amazing, Elizabeth. So 2 cups. I'm not talking about that sprinkle of blueberries. Okay, there we go. I'm more really referring to how much more volume could we get from that color. When it comes to protein and or dairy, we're looking at about a deck of cards, or again, a fistful. And then when it comes to starches, the plate really is suggesting that as Canadians, we're really working towards either 1 cup or less, which can translate to about 150 calories for more confusing products like granola bars or cookies, because they don't necessarily measure up with a fist. So this is kind of how I create my portions for meals and for snacks. And then a very simple tool is just called the handy method. So everyone hold your fist up in front of you and check out the size of your fist, because that fist is proportional to your body. And that's how much of the rice and the pasta and the potatoes we should be getting, or even a little bit less. Double open fist for vegetables. The meat and alternatives is the palm of our hand and the thickness of our pinky. But again, I'm all about more protein. And then for fats, the top of our thumb. So a very kind of easy way to actually measure our portions. But it's not so easy to follow this plate. It's a lot easier said than done. When we're at restaurants, when we're at home, my Italian mother, do you think she cooks a small part of the pasta box or the entire pasta box? Okay, so when we're at restaurants, it's a very inexpensive ingredient to load up on the rice or the potatoes or the noodles. So what we're served or what we're preparing at home doesn't always align with this fist. Other barriers, our portion sizes are growing. So back in the day, 20 years ago, our bagels were 140 calories and now they're 350. So our expectation for sizes are growing. Our dish sizes are growing. Our average dinner plate used to be 9 inches, now it's 12 inches. And lastly, I'm not sure if anyone remembers, but Tim Hortons cut out their small and made their small a medium, made their medium a small, the large a medium. So our association with bigger portions is becoming higher. We are expecting more for smaller sizes. So let's do a little bit of an activity. So I'm going to move you around with me today. So I have here 3 bowls. I have one. I might stop sharing to show you the bowls here. Okay, so I have here, hold on, 3 bowls. Okay, so I have a small, I have a medium, and I have a larger bowl. Okay, so I need someone to volunteer to maybe tell me when to stop pouring in the bowls. So I might just open up the chat box here for a second. Maybe that might be a little bit too difficult, but when I'm filling up this bowl, okay, so I want to fill up this one here, a small one. Technically speaking, this looks pretty satisfying right there. Agreed? That's a satisfying amount. Yeah, oh, thank you. Okay, I need you. Okay, let's keep going. So tell me more about this blue one. So tell me when to stop. Okay, perfect. Okay, so as you can see, that looks pretty satisfying. Okay, and then this bigger bowl here, it's like Mama Bear, Papa Bear. Okay, and then this one, I don't even know if I have enough, but that looks pretty satisfying. Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, so this here is the larger bowl. They all look equally satisfying. I'm going to fill these bowls up to an amount that appeals to me and seems satisfying. But the only challenge is 1 serving of rice is about half a cup, or of cereal is half a cup to 1 cup, or that 150 calorie mark, which is basically 1 cup of Rice Krispies. So, oh, they both have too much. Okay, exactly. So when I look at this larger bowl, maybe I'll just do this one here. Here's my measuring cup. Okay, so when I'm using this side here, this ended up equating to 2.5 cups of cereal. Just using a larger bowl that actually looks pretty small in person. It's not that large. So this actually was 1.5 times the amount. So what do we think the whole kind of idea of this activity is? Any thoughts on just the idea of, yes. So the dishware that we're using, exactly. The larger the dishware, the more likely we're going to fill it up. So no one necessarily is going to want to have just half a cup of orange juice in a 3-cup or 2-cup cup. Exactly. So our dish sizes are hugely influential in terms of how we fill up our plates. So not so easy if you already have a full kitchen setup, but just something to think about when it comes to making it a little bit easier for us. Okay, back to the slides. Here we go. I wish we could all talk together. Maybe we'll do an in-person one time, but I recognize everyone's from all over. So it's so nice to be able to see more people this way. Okay, so I'm going to just go back to the slideshow here. And we're going to shift gears. So now that we know about portion sizes and the plate method, let's switch to our eating schedule. So I always loop this in because all I do is research and what's the best approach for healthy body weights, for healthy overall. And it's all about normalizing our eating schedule, our eating pattern. So I'm a big fan of eating within 1 to 2 hours of waking, and then every 2 to 3 hours after. Now, I recognize because I work with a lot of nurses, there is a lot of shift schedules. So it's within those 24 hours, I kind of look at your eating schedule, encouraging you to be refueled every 3 hours. So what do you think are some of the benefits of actually eating more regularly? Let's hear from this amazing audience. So if I'm eating more regularly, how does that benefit me? Yes, around 4 times a day, sometimes 5. Blood sugars, energy. Yes, the theme of today stabilizes your blood sugars, less snack foods. If I go all day without eating, do you think I want the cake or the carrots? Bring on the cake. I'm not even taking it out of the box. Exactly, exactly. So, and then in terms of those snacking cravings, at the end of the day, that's kind of when they start to surface. So we can't really fix it then. It's really about eating regularly to really help guide healthier food choices. Amazing. And totally, my sister is my best friend, but she definitely can get hangry. So without that nutrition, it does affect your mood as well. So eating regularly, and we also get to role model healthy behavior in the home. So I work with so many people, including menopause, weight management, and the bottom line in the research is eating regularly. It offers that hormone balance. Yes, amazing, Michelle. So your body, after 4 hours of not eating, kind of switches into starvation mode, and it starts to basically hold on to that nutrition because it doesn't know when you're going to feed it next. So you're just holding on to the food versus burning it off. Amazing. I love everybody here. I like want to be your friends. Okay. So basically we have lots of these benefits and you all have pretty much crushed it, but I do a lot of work around cravings as well. So if I'm eating more often, more regularly with the right foods, those cravings go down. I can't necessarily fix it in the moment. It goes back to that earlier eating schedule. Okay, so in terms of next steps, so what am I really trying to say? So all I'm trying to really get at is if we're supposed to be eating every 2 to 3 hours, ideally every 3, what should we be including? Well, let's go back to that plate. So we have the meal size plate and then a smaller one for a snack. The more balance we have at our meals, the more nutrients we're actually getting. So it's a great way to say, I'm actually pretty good. I know I'm getting all of my nutrients. I don't need a supplement because I'm pretty much balancing my meals and my snacks. It's a very reassuring tool. And lots of color. Color on your menus equals nutrients, antioxidants, fiber. So the more colorful your plate, the better we are all off. So this brings me to workplace and being able to get more energy to focus, to have that improved mood. And basically we're looking at slunches, not just packing a lunch, but packing slunches. So everyone can walk away now saying slunches. So we have a snack, we have our lunch, and then we have our snack. So I always say to myself, pack in order of 1, 2, 3. So the first snack should have at least 2 food groups. The main lunch, again, should have 3 to 4 following that plate method. Same with the snack in the afternoon, again, 2 food groups. So it's called slunches. But the reality is, if I'm asking you to make half your plate vegetables and fruit at every single eating time, does that mean steamed broccoli over and over and over again? You're not going to be happy with me, okay? We have to make it fun. We have to make it a little bit more exciting, tapping into that kind of food group and seeing how we can get creative. So show of hands, who here's ever had cauliflower rice but seasoned really well? Or what about zucchini noodles? Yes, yes. Amazing. And what about just spaghetti squash? I just posted an amazing video on how to cut spaghetti squash so easy. Smoothies, fruit kebabs. So the more creative we get, the more excited we get about our menu because this is that forever plan. Zoodles, I love it, Sherry. Okay, so in terms of today, so not only are vegetables and fruit connected to just overall health and fiber and nutrients, but it's also a very high dose of antioxidants. And we all need as many antioxidants from our diets to neutralize stress and inflammation. So when we have a high antioxidant diet, it's negatively associated with depression. So depression in my research can be kind of synonymous with improved mood. So low mood. So if you actually have more antioxidants in your menu, those who do have more antioxidants from all that color actually are happier. And further research with 220,000 participants showed an inverse relationship between having low vegetables and more depression. So high, like lower mood. So getting more maybe that's why I'm so positive. Okay. But getting more vegetables and more fruit is really, really evidence-based practice connected to our mood and our ability to kind of have more of that kind of cognitive performance. Love it. I love it. Amazing. I'm going to call blueberries happy blueberries now. Check, I'll post that on Instagram. So that brings us to our first most beautiful colorful recipe, my broccoli chicken salad. I chose this one because number one, it's the top rated salad from all the salads I've shared, but it's also shelf stable in the fridge for up to 5 days once it's mixed all together. So let's do this together. Are you ready? I feel like I'm talking to myself, but I'm not. Okay, I'm going to bring my screen down here so I can show you. You're, by the way, on my high chair. So I'm going to bring the screen down here, and this is our broccoli station. Okay, so as you can see, I have already cut the broccoli here, but this is basically one head of broccoli, and I'm going to show you how easy it actually is. Now, I cut the other way, so maybe I'm going to bring you this way. Okay, so here we go. All right. Okay, so a lot of us think that it takes time, but watch how fast and easy this is. So I'm just pretty much cutting like that. 1, 2, 3, keep going, 4, 5, and then just I trim the ends, and that's it. So I could buy 2 or 3 heads of broccoli, and I pretty much am done. Look at that. Now, because I use a bigger knife, I get to just chop it a little bit more finely. So I just kind of cut like this. It's falling on the floor, but my dog will be very happy. Okay, so this is basically here, my broccoli salad. And I'm going to just basically transfer this into my bigger bowl right over here. Okay, and we are going to slide this in. Again, this is now raw broccoli, a different way to use broccoli. And it literally tastes magical. Okay, so from here, I'm going to add in some red onions. Okay, we're going to add in some toasted almonds, which are really high in vitamin E, a nice antioxidant. Okay, we're going to add in some fresh apple. Most broccoli salads call for dried fruit. Why do you think I'm suggesting fresh apple over dried fruit? I can't see the messages, but yes. So fiber, less sugar, exactly. Fruit, dried fruit is great, but it's very concentrated. This is a sharp cheddar that I'm going, and I love when I freshly grate cheese. One, it's less expensive. So when I actually buy pre-grated cheese, it's associated with a higher cost. So the more convenient something is, the more expensive it is. Now, I took my honey Dijon dressing, which by the way, you all have to make because you will literally like smile. And it's it's apple cider vinegar, olive oil, honey, Dijon mustard, and garlic. That's it, fresh garlic. So this is all gonna go in here, but basically I roast chicken. So I'm gonna bring forward one of my chicken breasts. And my favorite way to make it a little bit more gourmet on a salad is I just thinly slice it like this. Sorry, my broccoli knife here. This isn't the sharpest, but I just cut my chicken like this. It's like a pretty way. But I added this Dijon dressing to my chicken, some spices on top, and I'm done. So I'm using my salad dressing to also make this super soft and moist chicken. And I add this to my salad. So I'll cook 4 chicken breasts. It's just my lunch chicken, and we are good to go. So I will pour this on and show you how beautifully this all mixes together. And we are officially done this broccoli salad. So summer's coming. I'm not sure if anyone loves barbecue season, but bringing the color to people's houses is a great way to stay on track. And packing this for lunch, you will just be so, you won't even be able to wait until lunch for the salad. It's amazing and so easy and pretty much just raw broccoli. Have I sold you on this salad? And as you can see, it lasts in the fridge for up to 5 days. There we go. How pretty. Okay, All right, so back to the PowerPoint. Okay, that was yay, Michelle, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen again and we'll go back to the slides together. So give me 1 second here. All right, so we are now going to do a quick activity here. What do you think is the #1 reason why people find it so hard to follow a healthy or to put the time into following a healthier menu? What's the #1 reason? I might have just said it as I'm speaking. And maybe your own reason why it might be hard to stick to, yeah, time, money, and the cost of food has gone up. Cost and time, absolutely. So these are all valid reasons. And as you can see too, my mom actually asked me, why do you buy the whole head of broccoli? I said, it's so much cheaper. When you buy the florets, again, the more convenient something is, the amazing. Yes. So lots of temptations around you. So the research has shown the #1 reason for most Canadians is time. So I'm going to prove to all of us together, including myself, it takes about 10 minutes to actually cook pasta. But I have this spiralizer. I've had this. One of the psychologists I work with bought it for me as a gift 12 years ago. So I still have it. Okay. And it's a spiralizer. Now, I need someone to time me. Who can time me how long it's going to take to make zucchini noodles? So I just need someone to, I'm going to stop sharing here. Sorry about that. Okay, and I'll go back to, okay. So thank you. Okay, Michelle, I'll tell you when, you tell me when. On your marks, get set. Let's do this. Oh, hold on. You have to make sure you place it perfectly centered. Obviously, it's not working today. No. Okay, hold on. Let's go this way. And I'll show you how, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna actually turn it so you can both all see how pretty this is. There we go. Okay, are you timing me, Michelle? I'm not going overly fast because I want to make sure it's perfect, but it produces quite a lot of noodle. This here was not super expensive. And what I love about these noodles is they really hold their shape when I'm cooking them, and they take 1 minute to heat up on a frying pan with some marinara sauce. Done. How long was that, Michelle? 35 seconds. And check that out. Okay, I'm obsessed with you all, okay? Maybe I'm just a little bit sleep deprived with a baby, but check this out. So we have all these beautiful noodles, okay? You can pair this with regular pasta. You can keep it on its own, but it's 35 seconds. So timing is potentially a barrier that we have to kind of think a little bit differently, that healthy cooking may not take as much time as we think for some ingredients. Handheld spiralizers are $10 from Amazon. That one there is $30 from Canadian Tire or Walmart. It just takes up a little bit more space. Thank you, Michelle, so much. Okay, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen here, and let's dive into processed foods. So I don't mean to kind of go right there, but it's a lot of great research to share. So processed foods, when we think about processed foods, what types of foods are we thinking? Oh, nope. Sorry. No. Okay. So when we think about processed foods, I'm trying to open up the chat here. There we go. Yes. Anything that's packaged, fast food, shelf stable, exactly. Deli meat, amazing. So it's been modified from its true form. Exactly. Yes. So you can freeze the zoodles. Yes. I love that we all call them zoodles now. Salty snacks. So hold on, I'm going to just view here. Okay. So basically you're all correct. Anything that's processed is pretty much packaged, modified from its original form. So the reality is when we think about saturated fats, which are animal fats, which we'll talk about, or refined carbs, they've been processed because white flour wasn't made that way. It was whole grain and then stripped of its nutrients. Sugar that's been added to certain foods Even white sugar is more processed to get to that white sugar granular powder form, whereas honey and maple syrup are less processed and more whole. So all of these kind of Western diet type of ingredients have been shown in quite a lot of research to be associated with a higher risk of lower mood. So those who actually eat less quality food have a harder time with focusing and mood and energy as well. So again, it's that higher risk of, again, the research just says depression. So I don't mean to skip to that extreme. It just is synonymous with lower mood. So it's that type of fat, the type of refined carb or the added sugars and the sodium, I don't know why that wasn't mentioned there, that's also connected to inflammation. So inflammation in our body is everything. We all experience inflammation, whether we're stressed or there's an abnormality, so menopause or high cholesterol, our body's experiencing inflammation. So we need a menu to help counter that inflammation, not add more inflammation to the mix. So it's really important to understand the connection between the foods we're eating and just less inflammation overall. And so these items here are often just the more packaged processed ingredients, which you all have crushed. So salty, fatty, and sugary foods that taste so delicious and hit a bit of a dopamine response in our brain. No one has the same reaction to carrot sticks than they do to cake. It hits a different part of our brain. So it's not so easy just to limit, but when it comes to juice, so the sugary component, we are going to do another activity together. So juice is something that I think a lot of us are learning more about and recognizing maybe just get the whole fruit instead. But I have here, it happens to be, I think, a very genetically modified orange. So it's huge and they're not usually this big. Navel oranges are about half the size. Okay. So I'm going to squeeze this in and I want you guys to guess how many oranges it takes to make 1 cup of juice. So let's hear some responses in the chat here. Okay, so imagine this orange is actually 2 oranges, to be honest. So this is probably 1 full navel orange. So drum roll, let's squeeze in some orange juice in this cup here. Okay. Freshly squeezed orange juice over here. I'm going for it. This is 1 entire orange because it's actually ginormous. And this is what I got from Walmart. But as you can see, I'm squeezing. So how many oranges do we all think it takes to make 1 cup of juice? Okay, I'm kind of squeezed out here, but as you can see, it's all crumbled. I've squeezed really hard, but this is just here 1 orange. So the answer is, drum roll. Oh, 20 new messages I can't see. It takes, I'm going to wash my hands for a second, 6 oranges. I don't know who got that answer correct, to make 1 cup of juice. But what's missing in the orange? What's left over here? It's a dietitian's favorite F word. I'm going to go wash my hands here. 1 second. We got all the fiber that's just sitting in that orange. So all we've really squeezed out is really just the sugar content from the juice. So again, it's fresh, but it really doesn't satiate us. Can we eat 6 oranges and feel, I guess, could we chug 1 cup of juice and feel satiated? Who here feels satiated from juice? So the answer, you are all incredible. So again, that sugar from the juice doesn't satiate us, but that whole 6 oranges would. So it's the fiber component that plays a role in satiety and just overall health. So when we're thinking about sugar, juice is really it's still statistically one of the main sugary beverages, is one of the main sources of excess calories from Canadians. So we still are consuming quite a bit of juice. And that translates to about 6 teaspoons of 6 packets of sugar. So 1 cup of juice is approximately 6 packets of sugar, or 6 teaspoons of sugar, even if it's all natural. So the guidelines would suggest if you did have juice, have half a cup a day. So that cup that you might, my husband is a 6'5" giant. So his ginormous cups would not make half a cup of juice look so appealing. So it's a very small amount. So just kind of food for thought around sugar and inflammation, and juice is one of our main sources, or just sugary beverages. So the School of Public Health from Harvard has done a lot of research around inflammation. And basically, it's all about creating more anti-inflammatory foods. So things that are packaged versus made fresh. So even as far as like a packaged tomato sauce, that's been pretty much canned, packaged, and with preserved with salt, that causes more inflammation compared to just roasting your own tomatoes and blending them. So that's a lot more anti-inflammatory. So I created a little tool that basically suggests, how do you identify a processed food, or we should call it more pro-inflammatory food? So first is if the product has more than 15% of your daily value from sodium. That just means that food product would more likely cause inflammation and not be an anti-inflammatory food. Again, more than 5 ingredients, and they're often unrecognizable. The more ingredients we have in things, the more processed it is, the more inflammatory it is. And lastly, more than 8 grams of sugar per serving. So if you exceed 8 grams of sugar in your food items, it's likely added sugar, unless it's from natural sources like dried fruit. Dried fruit is super high in sugar, but anything else besides dried fruit, including yogurt, should not exceed 8 grams, because it's suggested that there's added sugar to these products. So whether it's granola bars, cereals, yogurts, it's really important to kind of aim for less than 8 grams of sugar. So a little bit about the label. So let's use the label in more detail. So fiber, my favorite F word, we're looking for more than 4 grams of fiber to make it more of that whole grain. We're aiming for less than 8 grams of sugar, but now they've actually added the percent daily value to sugar. So again, less than 5 to 15%, or yeah, less than 5 to 15. For saturated fat, the animal fat that likes to stick to our arteries, we're aiming for less than 5 to 15%. And for sodium, we're aiming for less than 5 to 15%. So let's look at these products. So here we have a burger, a pre-made burger. Who here can tell me how much sodium is in this burger? So where do we see the sodium? If you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't eat it. I love it. 25%. So it's above my 15% rule of thumb. So this packaged burger is more processed, more likely to cause some level of inflammation internally, which is then connected to mood and energy, etc. And then in terms of this fiber granola bar, so it's wonderful because it has lots of fiber. But what do you all think about this ingredients list? What do we think here? So are there more? Yeah, exactly. Too many. So lots and lots of ingredients. And when we're looking here, I want to point out that there's palm kernel oil, which is a plant-based. Yes, yes. Okay, now I'm not saying that this is a no-no forever, but these are the types of foods that are more connected to inflammation, which then affects our mood and our ability to focus overall. So palm kernel oil is a plant-based oil, but it's saturated, so it's very sticky, and they've replaced trans fat with palm. So be careful on packaged products when you see palm, because it is that saturated fat that likes to stick. So it is a little bit more, yes. Yeah, amazing. So as a result of reading the labels, you realize I might as well just do it myself from scratch, so you can control the ingredients. I love that. So in terms of inflammation, antioxidants are everything. So the main food sources of antioxidants come from vitamin C, vitamin E, beta carotene, selenium, zinc, and phenolic compounds. So you can always just research what are some antioxidant-rich foods, but I just kind of always defer to just the colorful vegetables and fruits as the easiest source. But as I mentioned earlier, almonds are a high source of vitamin E. So again, those antioxidants neutralize that inflammation and just make it a better path forward. So antioxidants and inflammation are key. So when it comes to those salty, sweet, delicious foods, it's been a long day. You all work long shifts and you come home and there might be some chocolate. We all know where our treat snacks are in our houses. So it's not so easy. I'm hoping to inspire you today, but it's not always so easy. So research has shown that we should all go surfing. We want to ride the wave. So ride the crave. So when we are basically craving something, whether it's stress related, whether it's hormone related, whether it's just, we now see it, now we want it. When we're at that peak of our vulnerability, we're like really wanting it so badly. Research has shown to literally put a timer on, okay, and wait 15 minutes. Just take a break, remove yourself from the food environment. So step away from the kitchen, okay? So 15 minutes goes a long way in being able to activate mindfulness. It activates us not being an autopilot, throwing in the towel philosophy, and just really helping guiding more of that kind of thought behind it all. So every time we have those cravings for those processed foods, because again, no one's hopping and skipping to celery or, apple slices, although sometimes we are, okay, but not as likely. So go surfing or order of bites. So while you're waiting that 15 minutes, what could we do that's a non-food activity? So let's hear from some people what we can do to keep ourselves busy. Yes, go for a walk. Yeah, take a walk. Yeah, showering's a luxury for me. Drink some water, have a bath. I love it. Spa night. Amazing. These are great ideas. Have a dance party, put some music on, read a book. So anything, phone a friend brush your teeth. You are all amazing. So within those 15 minutes, don't just stare at the chocolate, okay? Do those actual activities that kind of really truly take your mind off of what's happening. And then if you want something, go for it. Never say no, but maybe include more of those whole ingredients first. So things like carrots and hummus, some yogurt and some fruit, and then enjoy those snacks. So if we actually have these healthier foods, we're not entering that brownie situation on an empty stomach or a little bit hungrier. And the reality is a bag of mini eggs doesn't signal fullness. It doesn't hit satiety. It just might make us nauseous, but it's not really keeping us full. So we can't even rely on these foods to fill us up. So we might need those other food groups to keep us kind of more on track. Okay, so sorry, I didn't mean to stop that, but you are all amazing. I'm going to switch gears here to my new and my favorite edible black bean brownie. Okay. So give me 1 second here. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me just actually share my screen again. Am I sharing my screen? Yes, I am. Okay. So another component is kitchen architecture. So when it comes to cravings and processed foods, they're just easy. You can open up a bag of chips and they're ready. Done. But actually having our fridge set up and our kitchen set up, so healthy food is just as convenient. Research has shown that we're more likely to actually grab the happy blueberries, okay? So basically, if we put the blueberries at eye level, we wash them, we take them out of that container, we're more likely to actually eat them, not tucked away in a drawer in the containers we purchase them in. So even removing the stems from the grapes, cutting open the pineapple, we're more likely to actually eat it. So kitchen architecture, my rule of thumb is when you get your groceries, try to have them prepped before they go in the fridge. It's not so easy, but it is a great step to it's a great habit to start forming. So this brownie batter situation. So just like someone had mentioned that's why you bake, this is why I cook. So everyone check out these Betty Crocker brownies. Slideshow here. So basically these brownies are made with sugar, corn syrup, high maltose corn syrup, wheat flour, palm oil, cornstarch, the list goes on. So exceeding 5 ingredients. It also exceeds our 8 grams of sugar with 19. So we are together going to make my favorite black bean brownie, edible brownie batter. Okay. So So easy. All right. So what we're going to do together is line up or add all of these ingredients to, I'm going to stop sharing again. And I'm assuming you have something right at 11. So I might have to speed up a little bit, but basically in this food processor, I am adding a can of black beans, and they're also cheaper because this can of black beans, which now is everywhere, was 79 cents. So black beans go in. We then also have here a third of a cup of almond butter. So almond butter, again, vitamin E, but it tastes a lot better. So peanut butter is very strong in flavor. So it's very overpowering in some recipes. So I would say for this one, choose almond butter, cocoa powder, an all natural cocoa powder for that chocolatey effect. And then we also have here some maple syrup. So just 2 or 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. And then I do add some vanilla, and I also blend in some chocolate chips. So these are dark chocolate chips that I blend into my mixture. Okay. And that is basically, that's the end of it. So because I'm mindful of time, this is my final version already blended. I'm going to get a spoon and show you, but you can literally eat it from the blender or the food processor, but look how yummy this is. So it's literally just brownie batter that you can just pack for lunch. It is so satisfying, and you wouldn't even know black beans are in here. So maybe it doesn't look as yummy as it actually is, but it is unbelievable. All natural ingredients, and yay, it's dangerous. But this is something that all the black beans are fiber and protein rich. So a great product to tap into. Okay. And that protein from the legumes keeps you fuller longer. Okay. I'm going to share my screen again. We're going to keep going. You are all superstars. Okay. And then perfect. Okay. So up next we have, sorry, everybody. Now my computer's loading. No. Okay. Okay. So, okay. I'm going to take a deep breath. Beautiful. Okay. Next up is the Mediterranean eating pattern. So when it comes to energy, when it comes to mood, when it comes to focusing, this pattern is the way to go. So if you have any sort of ethnic cuisine in your home, I'm not saying switch to Mediterranean, but I would love to build concepts from the Mediterranean into your eating pattern. Okay. So I just want to be very clear. I very much encourage you to stick to the cuisine in the home and maintain that. That's the most important. But the Mediterranean dietary pattern, so much research has proven that it basically is connected to less inflammation. It's very much connected to improved mood, and it's really metabolically favorable, whether it's blood sugars, blood pressure, cholesterol panels. Anything Mediterranean in literature is showing this is the way to go. So I do have a pop quiz. So what do we think the Mediterranean pattern is consisting of? So what is this pattern? Is it high in vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts and seeds, and low in red meat? Is it a high amount of olive oil as a principal fat and low in red meat? Or is it a high amount of dairy products, fish and poultry, and low in olive oil? What do we think here? The answer is high amounts of vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts and seeds, and lower in that higher animal fat category, such as red meat. So it's basically pictorially, it looks like this. So on the bottom of this triangle, we are talking color, whole grains, nuts and seeds. I'm a little bit more of the lower carb Mediterranean focus. So the whole grains kind of might go up to the second tier, but lots of fish, omega-3s is hugely beneficial. And then chicken and eggs and dairy. And then last is more of the processed foods and the red meat. So they are saying less red meat because it's a fattier cut. So I've actually created an assessment tool that you can all complete on your own time. So I did everything that I have here, I'm sharing with you, but basically you can score yourself to see how far along are you with the Mediterranean eating pattern. So it's I think I did a 10-question panel. Yeah, it's a quiz that I created, and you can score yourself and you can actually see, are you following this pattern? And then at the bottom, depending on what your score is, it kind of can guide you to either try to move closer, stay on track, or here are a few extra areas you probably can kind of tap into. So I would encourage you to all complete this tool because, again, the Mediterranean pattern is connected to inflammation, energy, mood, and metabolic health. So it's overall the way to go. So these black beans, this black bean brownie batter is the way to go in terms of plant-based proteins. Okay, back to the slides. So we have my flax loaf. This one here has over, I think, 10 million views, I think. I'm not even sure. The next recipe I'm sharing has 16 million. So very popular stuff. And we are making a loaf of bread, but with just ground flax seeds. Are you ready? And flax seeds are super inexpensive and full of nutrients, including, who knows what flax actually includes? Fiber, yes, yes, Catherine. Fiber and omega-3s. And omega-3s are also connected to improve mood. Again, this is why I think I'm so positive, but basically lots of omega-3s. So let's do this together. So we have here, very simply, I'm gonna just move this here and stop sharing. Okay, so this might have to be one of our last recipes, we'll see. But basically we have here 2 cups of ground flax seeds. When it's ground, it's basically, it exposes more of the omega-3s. We have 6 eggs. We have 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And then we have coconut oil. Ideally it's melted, but I didn't necessarily get to that part. So then I mix it all together, just bend this down here, and it forms a beautiful batter. So I'll have to kind of just put a little work into this because the coconut oil was not melted, but give me 1 second here. Okay, so it mixes beautifully. Let's skip to the good part. Ready? This here, and on top of your flax loaf, you can add walnuts and some maple syrup, or you can keep it savory, whatever your heart desires. But check this out. This here is the loaf. That's it. And we could do our first cut together. Are you ready? So I saved it for you. How special was that? Okay, so this here is done. And look how beautiful this is. Okay, so that's just pretty much flaxseed, and it's super easy and it tastes delicious. I drizzled some honey on this one, but you can kind of make it your own. Okay, yay. Okay, you guys are literally magic. I'm gonna just quickly finish off here. We have 4 more minutes, okay? And I'll share my screen again. I'm just gonna quickly see what I have content-wise left. So omega-3s we went over. And then protein. So the last topic is protein, protein, protein. Protein really helps to signal fullness. It's the most satiating macronutrient. So when it comes to energy levels at work, it's really all about protein. So we do need to have enough protein to sustain our energy levels, but it also helps for so many other reasons. It helps to signal our body to start building muscle. And so if we are ever losing weight or our bodies are changing, muscle, we need more protein for muscle retention regardless. So whether we're losing muscle mass or we're losing weight, we need that protein as well. So research has shown if you actually have 30 grams of protein first thing in the morning, it signals our body to start building muscle. And if we don't hit that mark, it's most likely still down-regulating. So I really do love distributing my protein intake into 30 for breakfast, 5 to 15 with snacks, and then 20 to 30 with lunch and dinner. And again, it looks like this. So we have that divided plate, we ramp up the protein, And again, we do a nice blend of the animal-based and the plant-based versions. So again, here are the animal and plant-based versions. And then if we need to actually figure out how much protein is in certain things, we can look at the label. But for just raw chicken breast, we would need a weighing scale. I don't recommend doing much measuring at all, but entirely up to you. And then we have, again, just some examples of common protein sources and how much protein they actually have. And let's make our 2-ingredient bagels. This one here is almost 17 million views. Follow along on Instagram. We are doing bagels. And guess what? It's 2 ingredients, okay? So in this bowl here, I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so in this bowl here, we have 2 cups of almond flour going in. And I love almond flour because it's all natural. The ingredients literally just say almond. And it's 18 grams of protein per cup. So this here is 36 grams of protein in what I just poured. Second ingredient is 1 cup of Greek yogurt. That's it. So we are putting in some Greek yogurt. Okay. 1 cup, and 1 cup of Greek yogurt. I did choose the higher protein version. So 1 cup is about 25 grams of protein. And I'm going to give it a mix. I'll bring you guys a little bit closer. And I might need a little, I always add yogurt as opposed to putting it all in right away. Okay, I'm going to need a little bit more. This is the full cup, because sometimes it could be a bit too watery depending on the yogurt that you're using. So it's important, you can always add, but you can't take out. But I might need a bit more. Actually, I think it's just this spoon. Yeah, we're good. So basically, what I like to do, here's my trick. Are we ready? Okay, my Instagram is healthyu_dietitian. And guess what? I'm actually going to be on the social next week talking all about collagen powder. So tune in, okay? So see here, I made this ball. It's a little bit too dry, so I haven't done a full mix because I'm just trying to hurry through. But we do a ball, okay? And then I'm going to press it flat. Take here any sort of circular kind of shape here, poke it through. It's not working perfectly because I haven't mixed it properly, but that's kind of the bagel. It's small, but again, I'll do a proper mixture soon. But of course, we've already finished the bagel, okay? And we will do our first cut together like we did the flax. Check this out. And this bagel, I think, has about 15 grams of protein. So it makes 6. Okay, it was a little bit burnt on the bottom, but check that out. So I love making these bagels. 2 ingredients. They are so delicious and they are so easy. And then I basically do a little bit of an egg wash on top with some everything but the bagel spice sprinkled on, and I bake them in the oven. And last but not least, let's get more protein with an omelet. Okay. So the Instagram is healthy_dietitian. And I can even just, I think it might even be on the end of these slides too. You're all amazing. Okay, so omelet. We have 2 eggs. I don't want to necessarily go more than that. Okay, so 2 eggs is 12 grams of protein. 2 large eggs, 1 egg has 6, but then guess what? Half a cup of cottage cheese is 16 grams of protein. So I added that to the mixture over here, and I'll give it a good mix. And for a little bit more flavor, I'm putting in a tablespoon or 2 of some cheddar cheese. Giving all that a good mix. You could turn this into an egg muffin. You could turn it into a quiche. You can add some frozen spinach to it for some more color. But this right over here has, what is 16 plus 12? 28 grams of protein in the omelet now. And what's beautiful is the cottage cheese really melts down, so you wouldn't even detect it whatsoever. And that would be a breakfast that has almost 40 grams of protein. So the egg and the bagel. Okay, so in conclusion, we started off with the plate, the divided plate. We then spoke about eating regularly throughout the day. We switched gears to talking about the Mediterranean eating pattern, the need for more vegetables and fruits, and how it's actually connected to mood and energy. I didn't go into detail, but vitamin B12 and iron are really key for brain and energy function as well, but they're in the slides. And then we also just shared some real life recipes to make these recommendations come to life. So I hope you are all a little bit more motivated from the beginning of this conversation or this presentation. And thank you so much for all of your participation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was so great. Very
Oh,
interactive, very interactive. I felt like we were part of the talk show today.
there we go. We also spiralized zucchini. We squeezed oranges. We did quite a lot today.
Yeah, we really did. I must say, I really do appreciate you had some really great tips in there, by the way. A few takeaways that I definitely can do is I've been more and more conscious about the juice. I
Yes.
feel, for myself, I feel like that's one easy thing everyone can do is just
Yeah.
replace your juice with water.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Or
a
dilute
super
it. Dilute it with
or
water too.
dilute it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Exactly.
I've been conscious about that. But
Yeah.
I do have to shout out the audience today because we really
Yes.
do have a really great audience and they've been
Like
really
I have
interactive.
the shivers. Yes.
Right? I received a really good tip in there, and that was, it sounds funny, but brush your teeth. So I'm
Yeah.
addicted to chocolate, unfortunately. And I think that's a really good takeaway tip because
Yeah.
who's gonna eat chocolate after you brush your teeth?
Yeah.
And who's gonna want to taste the chocolate after you just put a mouthful of mint in? So I think that's a great tip
Go
I would think about.
surfing while brushing your teeth. Okay.
Right? And riding that wave, like
Right.
you said, kind of letting that craving pass.
Yeah.
And I think we can really apply that to so many things in life outside of food as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much
Yeah.
for that.
Aw, thank you so much. Follow
Yeah.
me on Instagram so you get to see more of this because I love it's not about me, it's just about just inspiration. So if you want that momentum to continue, follow along and tune into the social. I'm so nervous.
Oh, you'd be great. You're a star.
You are all amazing. I hope you enjoy the rest of your nursing week. You all deserve to be celebrated. Seriously.
Thank you. I was
Okay.
just wondering, so before you wrap up, is there any,
Yeah.
do you have a few minutes for any
I
questions
do.
from
Oh
the
yeah.
chat? If there's any questions, we ask that you can go ahead and put that in the chat.
I saw a question about
Um,
seafood.
mhm.
The seafood
Any-
wine with. So for seafood, it's more the omega-3s, I think. That's kind of so I would say making sure getting enough. I take omega-3 supplements and vitamin D. Those are the only two I recommend for most people. But if you are looking for more omega-3s, walnuts, ground flax seeds, chia seeds. So I would really just make sure you're getting enough of the plant-based omega-3s or just a supplement as well. Oh, that was like a long question ago.
And they like to share your Insta account.
Yeah.
Sure
Yeah,
you're comfortable with that.
the almond flour can be expensive. So I do like using oat flour. Oat flour is a lot less expensive than almond flour. It does have a little bit more carb, but again, if you actually buy a big bag of oats and blend them, they actually are very inexpensive and can be easily transformed into flour. So, but there's more carbs in the oats than there's none in the almond flour.
Great tip.
Smoothies. I love smoothies. A lot of people are now saying smoothies are no longer allowing our digestive system to be activated. So I'm still a big fan of smoothies, but I'm all about, does your smoothie have enough of the balanced plate? Are you getting, and if it's just a great way for you to kind of get your protein in, get your vegetables or fruit, get your calcium or your dairy source or dairy alternative, it's great. But I'm all about making sure it matches the plate, and maybe alternate food into the plan a little bit. So then you kind of keep that balance. Yes, smoothies have been vilified. I have been hearing a lot about this. But again, food and menu satisfaction. So your digestive tract is still digesting the food in a smoothie. I'm not a fan of juicing. Similar to the orange juice, you lose all the fiber. So it's just the nutrients from the vegetables or fruit. So if you're unwell and you need a little bit of an immune boost, juicing's fine, but you're not getting that fiber because it's more just absorbed right in your blood right away. So omega-3s are essential fats. They are basically a type of fat that we rely on our diets to provide us. Dr. Google, yeah, so true. But what I would say is omega-3s are a very, they're an unsaturated fat that are essential. So it does require us to make sure we're getting enough of them. And typically it's 2 to 3 servings of fish per week to achieve the amount, or plant-based versions. But I'm a big fan of just taking omega-3 supplements. They reduce inflammation to our body. They help with mood and cognitive function. And they're connected to cardiovascular protection. So I'm a huge fan of omega-3s. So whether that's from food or supplements, I'm right there. I'm in support of that. All the recipes are linked, so you get to have all of them. I hope you try them. If you do, tag me on Instagram, okay? I would love that. And add spinach, amazing. Adding greens, the deeper the color, the more nutrients. And spinach is very cost effective, especially frozen, and it definitely adds more nutrients. Fasting, yeah.
So we will, sorry, go ahead.
Intermittent fasting is very controversial. A study just came out saying that it actually increases your risk of cardiovascular death by 91%, but it wasn't a big pool of patients who were a part of that conclusion. And it was just a poster. But I'm very much for supporting what already you're doing. But if your cravings are high and you're more likely to have binging or craving tendencies, I would say skip the intermittent fasting because it will likely exacerbate those. So, and again, all of the benefits to eating regularly still are holding that kind of higher recommendation. Perfect. Amazing. Well, thank you all so much. You're amazing. My baby slept through this whole thing. And enjoy the rest of your week. And any other questions or last comments?
Well, I know I wanted to say thank you on behalf of WeRPN. We really appreciated you coming and joining us today. Very insightful, very helpful. We really like the interaction between the audience and yourself. So thank you for that today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll share your information as well for those who are online.
Oh, seafood. I don't know a seafood replacement. Is it the omega-3s? Robin, I'm not sure. Maybe can you elaborate a little bit more? Oh,
Yeah.
You're all a really good group.
And
I do a lot of this, so I'm like literally obsessed. If you want, for the Mediterranean, I would just do fish. Is it more shellfish you're not into? I would just do more of the fish.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely share your social media as well, so that people can, have direct.
And if you're nauseous with breakfast, start with a bite. It goes a long way. It's prime yourself into eating a bit more. It doesn't need to be, allergies to all seafood. Then again, I would go back, Robin, to more plant-based omega-3s. So walnuts, ground flax seeds, and chia seeds. So don't worry about the seafood. Take the pressure off. Okay. Have a wonderful day.
But thank you.
Bye, everyone.
I do want to just firstly remind everyone that there's registration open for the rest of Nursing Week activities. It's still open. If you wish to register for another event, please visit our Nursing Week page on our WeRPN website. Thank you so much. Secondly, nominations are being accepted for WeRPN Awards of Excellence this year. So the awards are meant to recognize exceptional RPNs who demonstrate excellent performance in their field. So we encourage you to nominate a deserving RPN for one of these awards in your organization. The awards will be presented at our AGM, so our annual general meeting, on October 24th in Waterloo. Registration for the event is now open, and we hope that you can all join with us and connect with us in Waterloo.